In this video, I'm going to answer some of the most frequently asked questions when it comes to AI artwork in the print-on-demand field, including, can you use the graphics for commercial purposes? What is the best way to remove backgrounds? Is there a risk using AI graphics on Amazon? And are people going to steal my designs? Question number one is probably one that I see the most in my comment section, and that is, can I use the images that I generate for commercial purposes? Now the answer is, it depends. In most cases, yes, you can, but it depends on the terms and conditions. So what you have to do is, whichever tool you're using, check on their homepage, on their website, if they have a link for their terms and conditions. Well, they should do, they will do somewhere. And then once you've opened that link, hit Control F or Command F and search for the word commercial. And then it should quickly direct you to the relevant paragraph that tells you either, yes, you can use the generations or the outputs for commercial purposes or not. That seems to be the case with most AI tools that I've spoke about in the past, whether it is Ideogram, Flux Pro, DALL-E 3, Midjourney, Kittle AI, all of those, you can use the outputs for commercial purposes, but the terms and conditions can always change, so always double check. One more thing to note here as well, this is usually the case with the free versions as well. So for example, Ideogram, you can currently generate 10 images per day, and you can also use them on t-shirts. You don't have to be signed up to get those commercial usage rights. Question number two is, why is my output showing an actual t-shirt when I only wanted to have a t-shirt design? This is quite often the case when you add the keyword t-shirt to your prompt. I know you might have told the AI that you want a giraffe t-shirt design, but many AI tools don't understand that you don't want a t-shirt in the output graphic, and they will create some sort of mock-up of a shirt with a giraffe on it instead. The simple fix to this is just remove the word t-shirt from your prompt. And if you're not sure how to get the t-shirt design style, one alternative that you can try is 2D flat vector graphic or vector illustration. That tends to get really good results that do look like t-shirt designs without actually mentioning the word t-shirt. Question number three is, should I upscale or vectorize my graphics? And this is a very good question because the answer is not very obvious. I wish there was a quick and easy answer to this, but it really depends. There's a lot of factors that play into this, and I actually made an entirely separate video about this topic to show you lots of different examples and give you my thoughts. But to summarize a few key points from that video, first of all, one thing that is important here is, what does the graphic look like? Do you have a very detailed image with a lot of intricate detail, a lot of gradients, for example? Well, in that case, using an upscaler is probably the better option because it will retain a lot of those details and actually enhance the details as well. Whereas a vectorizer would ruin the gradients, it would take away some of the detail, and it would just make your graphic look worse in a sense. And the second point right here is, what software do you use to edit your designs? If you're using Adobe Illustrator, if that's your go-to tool, Illustrator is a vector editing software. So in that case, you probably want to go with vectors because it's difficult to work with raster images out of an upscaler in Illustrator. So in my case, I'm going to create my final design in Illustrator. I'm going to use a vectorizer in most cases. If I'm going to go into Photoshop or perhaps Kittle, then yeah, using an upscaler is probably also suitable. So it really depends here. What also plays into it is, what is your budget? Because there is free upscalers out there like dgb.lol. I've made many tutorials on this tool. You can use that for free to get amazing results with an upscaler. Whereas with vectorizers, the free options are quite limited and they're not that great. Vectorizer.ai is a paid option. It used to be free back in the day. That definitely gets the best results, but you have to pay for it. So if you don't have any budget for increasing your quality, then vectorizers are not very accessible to you, but that's fine, right? An upscaler is still good enough. It's not like one is better than the other. It just really depends on your graphic, it depends on your budget, and it depends on which software you're using afterwards to edit your final design. This next question is an interesting one that only started to appear a few months ago on my channel, and that is, are the fonts in these images actually free for commercial use? This is a good question. It's a bit difficult to explain, but basically, none of the text that you see in your AI art is an actual real font. So the AI art generators, they're coming up with this text from scratch. They might be inspired by actual fonts, but they're not sort of going to the Adobe Fonts library, they're not going there, choosing veneer, and then typing that out in the final image. They might create a grungy looking font that is similar to veneer, but it isn't the official font. So basically, yes, all of the text that's generated, you can use it commercially, just like the graphics as well. None of these are real fonts. They might look professional, but they are safe to use. Everything that AI generates might be inspired by what's come before, but it is still original and you don't have to worry about font licensing. Question number 5, I used the same prompt as you, but my result looks way worse. Why is this the case? Well, first of all, I want to tell you that is exactly the same for me. I oftentimes find a really nice graphic, I use the same prompt, and then my result looks way worse, at least the first few results. This is totally natural, it's in the nature of AI, especially on the explore pages of a lot of these tools. You will see some of the best results that prompt has gotten. So that person might have ran that prompt 30, 40, 50 times and also used the remix feature, for example, in Ideogram to get even closer and closer to a perfect result over time. But the first few runs usually don't turn out very well, and that is the same for me as it is for you. Yes, the videos might appear like I always get really amazing results, but you have to remember my videos are edited, so I often chop out a lot of the bad results to keep it entertaining and to show you what's possible with these tools and kind of show you the highlights of my results. But if you looked through some of the back end of my AI tools, you would also see a lot of rubbish. It is completely normal. You have to keep some patience, and you also have to learn something like the remix feature and how to use it properly to refine your results and keep making them look better. Is there a risk to using AI on Amazon? Well, the answer is, unfortunately again, it depends. There is no rule that says you cannot use AI graphics in your designs, or at least on Amazon Merch. That's definitely not the case. However, you still have to follow some best practices to make sure that you don't run the risk of getting rejected or having your design removed in the future. What are those best practices? Well, first of all, you have to be aware of trademarks and intellectual property. You cannot just generate an image of a celebrity or of some famous trademark or logo, use that on Amazon Merch and expect it to be okay. That is going to pose a risk to your account for sure. And if you're not certain about trademarks and IP, copyright, all of this stuff, I did make a video about that recently, so check it out to get clued up. It shows you all of the important steps to make sure your accounts stay safe, at least in terms of your design content. Secondly, you also need to watch out for the quality of your AI designs, because if you just download them from Ideogram as they are and then post them on a t-shirt on Amazon without any additional steps, then yes, that also poses a risk to your account. You need to upscale the quality to make sure these print well, and you also need to do a decent job of removing the background, because if you have a lot of sort of half transparent white background color left, again, that is going to print badly, and Amazon doesn't want their customers to have a terrible experience, so they will crack down on people who don't do a good job of removing backgrounds or increasing the quality of AI artwork. On top of that, if you have a lot of text in your designs, your AI graphics, and the text is spelled incorrectly, that is also going to cause issues, because it is in the content policy of Amazon Merch that you shouldn't have any spelling mistakes in your listings. Why shouldn't you have that? Customers receive their items, they see a lot of words that are jumbled up or don't make any sense, or they have a lot of spelling mistakes, they're going to return these t-shirts. So Amazon is going to lose money. So again, you have to be careful and pay attention to the details, make sure that your designs will print well, make sure all of the graphics make sense and the spelling is correct, and avoid trademark and intellectual property, and then AI doesn't pose a risk to your Amazon Merch account. Speaking of removing backgrounds, some people ask, what is the best way to remove them? Well, there is no best method as such. I think there is two really good methods, but first of all, let's address Clip Drop, because I've mentioned that tool a lot in the past, because it is a free and automated fashion to remove backgrounds quite well in many cases, but not every case, right? So Clip Drop has a free option, and if your background is very well isolated, then it will do a decent job of erasing the background. But sometimes it fails, and you will have some blurry edges, you will have some of the background left, and you will have some semi-transparent edges which are just not going to print well. If that is the case, two of the best options that I've found recently for removing backgrounds is number one, color ranges. And thanks to my subscribers who commented this underneath one of my videos. It's a great suggestion, and I've made a new tutorial showing you how to remove backgrounds with color ranges in Photoshop. I believe this might also be possible in Photopea. but I'm not 100% certain there, but that is a really good and effective method. Check out that tutorial if you want to learn that one. Another really good way is to vectorize your graphic and then use vector editing software to just click on the background color and delete it. That is probably one of the easiest ways if you know how to work with vectors. And the two best vectorizers for this are probably the built-in image trace feature in Adobe Illustrator and Vectorizer.ai. Vectorizer.ai is the best in my opinion, but if you're working with Illustrator and you want to have sort of a quicker workflow, you don't want to pay extra, then yes, the image trace can sometimes work very well too. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave a comment saying giraffe down below. Let's confuse a few people that haven't watched until the end. And in case you weren't aware, I also have a free email newsletter with a lot of bonus content. If you sign up to it, you'll be entered automatically into a 7-day print-on-demand crash course, and you will get access to an email exclusive 1000 evergreen niches spreadsheet. So there will be a link down below where you can sign up for free. And if you want to see that video, which I alluded to earlier, about 2 methods on removing difficult backgrounds, then click on this thumbnail right here.